In Disney's Encanto, Bruno was actually able to live inside the walls of the house for many years. Here's how he was able to do this. For those who don't know, Bruno had the ability to communicate with rats and also had a gift of precognition, which means that he could see into the future. However, his gift was a bit more of a curse, as it showed him visions of the possible future. And his visions were pretty much always negative, showing things like the family being torn apart, the house being destroyed, and Casita being abandoned. Because of this, the family began to turn on him, and he was eventually kicked out of the house by his own father. So Bruno decided to make his home inside the walls of Casita, the magical house. He built himself a little apartment inside the walls where he lived out the rest of his life until he was finally accepted back into the family. But how exactly was he able to survive inside the walls for so long? Well, there are a couple of theories. The first is that Bruno was simply just hallucinating his life inside the walls. This would explain why no one else could see or hear him while he was inside the walls. It would also explain why he was able to survive without food or water. And it would also explain why he was only able to be seen or heard once Casita was literally crumbling apart and on the verge of death. If Bruno was literally just hallucinating his existence inside the walls, may have caused him to finally snap, causing him to literally be seen and heard by everyone once again. Another theory is that Bruno was actually just outside the walls the whole time. In this theory, Bruno never actually went inside the walls, but instead made his home around the wall. This would mean that he didn't actually have to eat or drink in order to survive, but he still would have been able to sustain himself somehow. This theory is supported by the fact that when Mirabel is searching for Bruno inside the walls, so it's possible that Bruno was living somewhere in this hole or somewhere around here. Now, if Bruno was truly living outside the walls, it does raise some questions, such as why couldn't anyone else see or hear him? After all, there are plenty of people who go outside the walls, such as when Camila was spying on Mirabel and Bruno. Visions always seem to show him in different locations, which would mean that he would have had to move around quite a bit. Yet somehow, he was never seen or heard by anyone. It's possible that the answer to both theories is actually the rats. Bruno was able to survive inside the walls by using the rats to get him food and water, and the rats were also able to block out any sound so that no one could hear him. The rats were also most likely the reason that Bruno was able to see the visions of the future, as they most likely led him to the magical candle that started all of this in the first place. What do you think? How do you think Bruno was able to survive inside the walls of Casita for so long? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and supporting my channel.